Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and this evening I have a slightly different experience for you. This is one that I was involved in the beta testing, called Banners and Bastions. For those of you who are familiar with Bad North, this is basically combat focused Bad North. Bad North was very much a game as much about the battles as it was about the roguelike progression and random elements and dealing with the threat of being chased across islands. Whereas this game, we are going from kingdom to kingdom. It's basically tower defense, but it's a little bit more advanced than that. Now, I've got a lot of progress logged into this game. There is quite an extensive upgrade system. The upgrade system is done by earning stars. You earn stars, you then spend them to upgrade the various elements within the game. I've reset all of them. I'll put them back on later, but for now, I don't want to be stupidly overpowered with all these abilities on the very first level, because that isn't a very good representation of what this game is. This game is fantastic as well. I will add that we have our own Grizzon File up here in second. I was topping the leaderboards for this one at a time. The problem that we have now is the beta, when we were marching through these levels, and I don't know how many levels there are. I got 10 worlds deep. I got to world 11 and I was like, cool, so there's more than 10 worlds. And each world has between, I think, 7 and 10 castles in it, culminating in a boss event now. That's a new change. This game has been made a lot harder. So for any of you that were in the beta, RB Avenue, and thought that this game was too easy, try it now. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So, we're going to have a look at the very first level of this game, and I'm going to try and not get my ass kicked. So, if you may have seen games of this similar sort of ilk, basically we are going to be buying units from our war chest. The other big thing to mention as well is, and I think everybody should have at least a game of this ilk in their library. Now, I'm not a massive fan of hand tracking games. I do think they're a little bit niche, and I do think they're a little bit gimmicky, and it's really because I don't think hand tracking is there yet. However, this dev has done a fantastic job with hand tracking. Why is it important to have a hand tracking game, you might ask? Well, when you inevitably have to send your controllers off because of stick drift, you will have something to play without controllers. That's why it's important. Anyway, our war chest here. So all of this, I'm using my hands, my fingers. Rock on. So, what we basically have to do is we have to defend these village huts and our main castle. We will have various resources to do this, purchasable from our gold. Purchasable via the gold in our war chest. Those are the words I was looking for. Now, range is always great in these kind of games because you can put a lot of hurt on them without them getting close. Basically, enemies will spawn from one of, in different levels, up to 3 points. This tells you what they are, so this is just going to be regular swordsmen, and this tells you what path they're going to be taking. So we shall grab some archers. Once we've popped them down, we simply pinch to move them where we want to. This part of the game is kind of like the setup, then we go into real time by hitting start. And our guys will do the job. We have the ability to cast a troop unit. We also have the ability to drop fireballs as well, but both of those skills are on cooldown. Now, if we were to forego spending, we only get to make one purchase per round. If we were to forego spending, we can save up our cash to get these big boy units like Spearmen walls and knights and such. But we're just going to go with a crummy old wall. Walls are very important in this game. If you put them in the right places, you can circumvent the enemy being able to even get to where it wants to get to. for instance, putting a wall here stops the enemy completely from spawning and attacking this point. They won't even try and attack this structure. They'll just go for the next closest thing, which happens to be this hut. And then that gives us a nice long line for our guys to whittle them down, but that ain't going to happen, so we'll drop some fireballs on them. We get 2 gold per level. We've also, so one thing we know for certain is the enemies are going to come out and go this way. Let's give them a little prick. So we'll drop a thorn field here. This will slow them down and damage them. And we'd probably be silly not to deploy our troops here as well. Those are my favourite kind of troops. They are completely expendable. And I'll try and get in reasonably close so you guys can see what you're doing. Yeah. Lovely. And that's the game. And that would be considered a 3-star rating, which we would then use to upgrade our abilities. So I'm going to pretend that we've got 3 stars because we completed the first level. Yippee for us. So we would then go on to our upgrade, and then we would have a look. I'm a big fan of archery in this game, or I'm a big fan of ranged in this game. There are a decent amount of ranged units. That tactic held me very nicely in the beta. Not anymore, though. So this one, sharpened arrows. Arrows deal slightly more damage. 1 star. Yes. What's this one? Ranged soldiers can now attack on the move. That should be clarified. They can only attack on the move if you are moving toward a thing. If you're moving away from it, they don't. And what's this one? Arrows have a chance of piercing shields. We don't really need that yet, but arrows have a slight chance of dealing double damage. That we do want. Ranged soldiers have more range. That we want more, though. And then towers have more range. Cool. So we'll spend another star of the 3 that we earned on ranged soldiers. So that's 1 star left now. Again, ignore my progress. I can just unlock the whole tree. And start each battle with 1 more coin. Don't mind if I do. Now, the things that I would recommend you to unlock will be based on how you end up playing. Know that you can reset this tree at any time and redistribute your stars. You will get to the point where you have everything. There's some cool abilities. The vast majority of them don't change the game drastically. They just increase range, increase stat, increase this, increase that. So, but some of them add to the effects of things like more troops, advanced coordination, more soldiers in each squad is always nice to see in these kind of games. So we will move on to the second level and we'll pretend that I haven't 3-starred that already. If you recognize this style of things from other games that are out there, you'd be quite right. There is one other game called Airspace, I think it is. Might be Airspace Defender from Not Suspicious Games. I played that one. I didn't get on with it quite as well. I've never been a massive Missile Command fan, and that's clearly the element of it. But that was, you have a city down here and you are plotting points with your hands as to where to fire. It's a lot more complicated than that. That's how it started out when I had a look at the beta. And again, I'm never a fan of hand tracking. This game does it really well. That one, I'll be honest, I haven't been back to check yet. Now then, we'll stick with the theme of archery, but in fact, we've got the money for Spearmen. So, although you can get quite far with ranged and you can specialize in ranged, Spearmen, for those of you who have played Bad North, Spearmen sat at the top of checkpoints do this. You'll also note as well that our castle has a turret on it and is firing arrows. So even when we don't have any defenses, we are not defenseless. Now, we haven't got a lot to play with here. This is the elite ranged unit. This is the elite tower. So you've got catapult towers and rangers. You also have the elite melee troops, which are knights. And I'll go through the cards a little bit later on. For now, let us... We don't want these guys coming up here because we've only got one lot of spearmen and there are 2 spawn points on this. We could do with some archers, but we could make our lives a little easier by doing that, which I think will stop these guys being able to traverse up here and go all the way around. So we've then only got 2 points to defend because they'll bin it straight for our castle. Those are archers. Pull those guys back and get the troops in. You get all of your units healed at the end of battle, and you will get a number of troops as reinforcements back from these, at the end of a stage. Nope, they are able to go that way. I mean, let's say that was all part of the plan, and now they have to go through Thorns to do it. You can see that I can give you 4 points of action. This game, one of the things that I found myself doing with this game quite a lot is that you can do this. And you can have the background as your background. So I found myself quite happily sitting at my computer with this on the table, watching Alien Earth over and over again. Because that's a thing. I kind of prefer when I'm streaming a game or showing off game though. You don't want to be here distracted with my crummy living space. Now then, this should take care of a lot of our problems. These are archers, so we're going to have to employ other troops. Now, where we drop these guys is important. If we drop them here, they won't, until the enemy get to about here, actually try and do anything. If we put them here, though, they should go and fight everything for us. So they're taking on those guys right now, then they'll bin it back and get these ones, and then they're going to bin it all the way back over there and get those archers as well. And so you kind of have that rock, paper, scissors thing akin to most of these styles of games going on, whereby fighters beat archers, archers beat spearmen, and then spearmen can hold checkpoints. It's one of those triangle things, but it isn't quite as triangular as I'm making out. Swordsmen beat archers. Archers beat... No. Shielded infantry beat archers. Archers beat normal troops. Normal troops also beat archers, if you're quick enough. There's a triangle in there somewhere. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining it, though. So, we can now block off their route by doing that. Now, here's something that immediately caught my attention about this game, because I've played many a game like this. A lot of the time, now, of course, we deployed this last turn, or last wave. A lot of games would basically allow you to place something, and then that's it. So if you fuck up that placement, then, yeah, sorry, dude, you've had it. This game, at least, allows you to move the one that you placed about after you placed it. This can be important for finding out the best way to block enemy. So I know that by putting it there, no, I could put it here. Where would they go then? He would go round here. That's not great for us. If we put that here, it forces everything down this line. They'll kind of hit the Thorns, so they've become a little bit irrelevant. This is my own fault for trying to show off all the things. Spearmen definitely taking a bit of a backseat. You guys can go. Aha! Perfect. And then... Lovely. Well, that worked out nice, didn't it? And then if we employ some archers, You can see by holding onto a thing, this is the same for towers. As you move it about, you should be able to see a faint sphere of influence or range, as you might call it, on your planet. And moving where you're moving to will show that. So if we was to put that here, that will deal with all of these swordsmen between the archers and then coming through here. Then all we have to worry about is there. And then if we were to drop our troops about here so that they just deal with this as a priority, and then we can have our fireballs ready. Let's bring the archers across. I'm keeping those far back so that they don't get hit by the archers that are going to come from there. And as soon as the archers do come from there, I'm going to drop a... Oh, maybe we've already dealt with them. Okay, cool. You can have that then. And then we move this back here. That's a lot of archers. Let's try not to die, shall we? There we go. It's only on bloody level 2. Oh, there's more! Keeping our spearmen there should secure us. And then we'll drop our troops in there. And that should be all she wrote. And look at that. They dance. They all dance. Brilliant. How's the view, chat? Can you see everything that's going on? And yes, I do live in a void. I forget sometimes when you're live streaming, it'll show off in games your pass-through environment, and other times it won't. So that earned us another 3 stars. So let's have a look at our upgrade tree. Here we could go ranged soldiers have more damage. We could also go for soldiers move faster. I'd say we go for ranged soldiers have more damage, and reinforcements have more damage and health. So when we drop our disposable troops in, which we are kind of relying on a lot here, they'll be able to do more onto the 3rd level. As I say, playing this game in pass-through, you can be doing... It's... Especially the early levels, once you've learned how to play the game, it's the perfect game for just... You can move this where you want to. I'm currently sat down in my play space, but you can move it to where you want to and just play it from there. So if you want it on your desk whilst you've got a monitor on just behind it, that's what I do. Maybe I'd be able to get further if I paid more attention. Now then, we have got spawn point here, and this is just 9 standard sword troops. There are quite a lot of enemy types in the game. There is a special place in Hell reserved for necromancers in this game. I have never seen such brawny, health, fuel-injected necromancers in a game in all my days. Now, necromancers are supposed to be weedy, but they can raise the dead. Not these necromancers. The necromancers in this game are ridiculously tanky. So, let's see what we can get accomplished with these archers. Will they alone be enough? So you can see that we're doing more damage now. If we move back there, they should be able to finish those guys off. Lovely. Some spearmen might be nice, but let's see if we can get some of these higher units. Now, this is going to be just archers, so that's perfect, and we'll use the archers to support. A catapult tower. So, towers, normal, standard towers shoot arrows, catapult towers throw massive stones. We can pick a thing and then see the range. So, the catapult towers are new to the game if you haven't played it, this one so far. The standard towers just shoot arrows. If we pop that there, it's about there, I reckon. It's going to be pretty much game. You'll see why. They come in, we fire a rock, they die. And then we've got the archers to finish them up. And they're literally going to tickle our tower and tickle our wall. That's all they can do. We should be okay, so we'll skip this round. If you want to save your cash, you basically forego a choice. The game does go up to the point of, I think 11 is now the maximum number of waves, down from 15, I think it was, or 13. Might go up in late game, I don't know anymore, because things have changed. Let's pop those guys there to support. Archers doing their thing. Soldiers doing their thing. Catapult doing its thing. And it's all working out quite nicely. Troops are great for holding things in place. You'll see there is no friendly fire because that's just one less thing to worry about. We have 4 gold. Choice of swordsmen. It's going to be towers. Now, the tactics that I'm employing here are going to be a lot different than the level of the game that I'm currently at, which I'll show off another time. For now, let's give myself easy street. So again, this is what I was talking about. I've placed it there. If I wanted to double check the range just to make sure as many things are within its sphere, we could just as easily go 1 back there. But then that allows us to shoot them as they spawn. And these are just archery towers. They don't do a lot, but they do consistent damage. They're non-mobile, obviously, it's a tower, but they can take a lot of hits. That looks like it'll do us. That saves us 1 gold. That's a nice lot of archers you had there. The one thing that I will say about this game is it's got a little bit more of a cartoony aesthetic than I would like. I prefer Bad North's aesthetic, but ultimately I've done myself out of having really cool and enjoyable gameplay experiences because I've not been a fan of the art style. The gameplay on this is basically what matters. So you're going over there and you're coming that way. Slowing them down with some thorns would be a good idea then, I would imagine. You can see that we took casualties here. We're only regenerating 1 troop per wave at the moment. As we get upgrades, that will increase. You do have to think about trajectories of your shots, where you point, where you place your defenses, and how they're going to work. These early stages, it's a bit of a tutorial. I assume you would get the catapult tower at these early stages. If not, you just have more money to spend on better things. And we might be able to get through this one without actually having to use our little reinforcement crutch or our fireball crutch. We'll be using those later on, let me tell you. There we go. Game loop achieved. That's it. That's what this game is. Win the levels. You get your 3-star rating by making sure you keep both of these intact. If either of these die, that's fine. If your castle bites the dust, that's game, and you have to start that level again. Sometimes it is worth sacrificing these to then be able to control choke points or hold a better area. You won't need to start thinking in those terms until late game. There is a lot of game here. If this is enjoyable to you, again, it's not massively deep, or at least it doesn't look it. Believe you me, this gets to the point of ridiculous later on. So that's another 3 stars. We will continue our upgrading tree in just a moment, just to give you a little insight into what's available. Swordsmen are our basic melee unit. Archers are our ranged unit. We have towers, which I showed off. Spearmen for holding choke points. Walls will block enemies' paths. Now, I know it says that. My brain said to me, oh, well, if it blocks the enemy's path, surely they'll just smash through it. Nope, not these guys. They ain't got fucking time for breaking down walls. No, no, no. If it's in the way, they're going round. And you can use that to funnel them into choke points, which can be extremely effective when you can get it to work. Heal, it's cheap, and it will bring the health back to your troops. if you're using this, the likelihood is things have gone wrong and you're scrambling to get back. Not a great choice, but sometimes needed. Knights are a shielded version of swordsmen with much higher HP, much more damage, but most importantly, less units. So they can be quite easily swarmed. Knights are very good in this game. Melee is definitely needed now in those higher levels of difficulty. Thorns, you've seen, it not only does it slow down enemies, but it also damages them. It doesn't say that anywhere other than that little attack thing. It should say slows down and damages enemies, but the attack, health, number of. Catapult towers throws massive stones. We've seen these. Farms. Now, farms used to be a lot cheaper. Farms are something that you place. They then give 1 coin for you to use per wave. So getting farms down early used to be great when they cost, I think it was 4 gold, maybe even 3. Now they've kind of been priced out the game a little bit, especially at the late game. You ain't got the money to buy those. And then rangers, longer ranged archers, not quite as squishy. They do the same damage, but they've, I believe, got a faster fire rate, longer range, and less people. So archers are great if you're doing a lot of point-to-point moving. Rangers are great for just sitting in there and then just getting on and doing their job. Now, we had 3 stars, not that one. Not that one. We had 3 stars to play with. So, let's get... Towers have more range. It's pretty good. We could get towers have more range, and we could get fireballs. That would now be our 3. Melee is very good in this game, especially if you can get knights. You can get it so that eventually your troops get your reinforcements that you can bring into the game get shields. It is also looking like, and more of them come, it's also looking like now, previously some of these ones for troops didn't actually work with your reinforcements. I think now the vast majority of them do. Squads and buildings explode when destroyed. So these are classed as squads, but not classed as soldiers for the purposes of some things in this, or they didn't used to be. Soldier keyword, reinforcement keyword. Again, all important things. 3, 6, 9. We've done that one. We're on this one. Cool. Again, this one is, I think this is like, for those of you watching previously, stream-wise, I think this one's $7.99, $8.99. Great little game for what it is priced at. And again, most importantly, and I will reiterate this, if you own a Quest 2 or a Quest 3, there is a time. Let me tell you, there is a time when your controllers may not work, or your stick drift is that bad that all the WD-40 Electrical Edition in the world is not bringing that control pad back. You then either have to wait for new controllers to arrive, or send the controllers that you have away under warranty. That I've always had at least one hand tracking game for that purpose. This one is probably one of the better ones that I have now. The other one was Rogue Ascent, which was a nice finger guns game, but I've played that one to death. This is more my speed for what I like to do when I haven't got controllers. Now then, that's good. No range. We do get the ability to have a reroll later on as well. What have we got coming at us initially? Swords. So we have got our troops that we have made slightly stronger, and we have got our fireballs. A lot of the time, you'll find that you don't have to purchase anything during this first wave, because you can just do that. Well, that's looking quite good, isn't it? So they're coming from here and here. The only way up is here. If we block their only way up, they will smash through it if they can't find an alternate route. Knowing that they're definitely coming to this area means that should be quite a good purchase. Lovely. Didn't even need the catapult in the end. We could grab some more archers, or we could forego a deployment and make use of what we have so that we have more cash for next turn. We can see that there are 3, and you'll see that that one's got a shield, so these are now shielded troops. So grabbing the archers wouldn't help us in against shields anyway, until you have later upgrades where they can actually do more worthwhile damage. But yeah, all the shields in the world, guys, that's a massive rock being thrown on your head. See you later, goodbye. We've got more troops and they're heading all the way around the back. Now, what would be nice is if we could force everything this way. Oh, we do have the reroll option. You can make it so that the reroll option is free. Now, what I'm looking for here is a wall. If we place our wall, we could put it here, but they'll still circumvent the wall and go round. We could put it here. That'll force them all the way around. What I would want to do is put it there. And basically now, this area is cut off from this choke point and this choke point, but it might not be to that one. Whereas if I pop it there, it now is. So these guys, if I move it out the way, you'll see that they will path to it. If I move it to here, they will not be able to path to it. These guys might be able to path to it as well, but this house is closer, so they're more likely going to go there. There should be fine, and then that will nicely funnel everything past our catapult. And fireballs. And troops. Tell you another reason why I hate necromancers in this game as well. The amount of enemies that they can summon is ridiculous. The amount of skeletons that they bring to the game is ridiculous, to the point where it slows the game down. There are that many sprites on screen. It is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. A lot of the time I get defeated by necromancers because the game's chugging along that I can't command anything. That's a lie. There's enough skeletons on screen that I would not be able to do anything about it. Lovely. More cash. Less problems. Now, if we were... Which way around could we do it? If we were to pop Thorns here, it would have to be there. If we were to pop Thorns here, and then was able to wall this area off, everything would have to go along this one choke point. So that's what we'll aim for. Again, fireballs and troops, we should be fine regardless. This is a new fresh hell to anybody who's not familiar, or, sorry, is familiar enough with the game to have played the beta. Oh, they're doing a great job. Wolves have now been added to the game. They will prioritize your troops. And they always seem to want to prioritize your archers as well. They're a great addition to the game because they stop. And if they can't reach any of your archers, they will go for houses and castles. Hopefully we don't... I kind of need to lose a house so I can show you what happens. So we've lost a house. This guy's going all the way around the houses. Oh, look at this! So because he can't reach my castle, he has to... That doesn't count as a death, by the way. Because he can't reach my castle, he will now try and knock this down, which is unfortunate. Yeah, because this is the only thing that they can go for now. It does kind of kibosh our plans a little bit, but let's pop a tower down, because things are going to be coming this way. I mean, and we've only got one more wave to go. Another thing that is quite important in this game, if you place the reinforcements behind an enemy, you can drag them back that way. That is quite key. If I was the kind of person to do tips and tricks videos, these are the sort of things I might say. Yeah, well, that thorn thing isn't very good, is it, Mr. fucking tips and tricks? And yeah. Cool, right, well, we're just going to have to be really, really good with our troops and fireballs. They are on a cooldown. You do get multiple uses out of them. Now, which way are you going? Now, it's not giving me any pathing information because they don't have any pathing at the moment, but they're going to have to get up here to my juicy, juicy castle, they're going to have to come through this. So, popping that 12, 12, 17. Let's pop you there. That will at least get some work done. Not amazing placement, but they will get close enough to attack my house. Little upgrades that you can get later on that quite important. Well, they're not that great, but you can get home self-defense, I think it is, that allow buildings like this to fire arrows off every now and again, which is quite nice. Anything for that extra little bit of damage. Note the damage that the Thorns are doing. Excellent catapult shot, sir. Can I have another? Lovely. You missed. Not as much RNG in the shots and melee attempts in this game as you would think. The RNG comes from something a little bit later on, which, well, yeah, is in the game now, so we'll have to deal with it. There is a card later on in the game that becomes available to you where when you buy something, there is a very small chance that you'll get another one for free. You're almost having to rely on that late game. But we're talking like many, many hours deep. Many, many. And there we go. So, part of the reason why I lost that house on purpose over there, I mean, we could have restarted and built better. I haven't played these ones for a while, and here's with the excuses. So, part of the reason why I wanted to lose that is to show you what happens. So, destroying a house will force the enemies to path to a different house or your main castle. We've obviously lost one of the stars, so now, I mean, it changes things up a bit, doesn't it? Instead of 3 stars to use, we have 2 now. So, we'll have a look at this level next, and we've got 2 cards, wrong one. 2 stars to spend. Reinforcements stay and fight longer. Fireballs set the ground on fire, dealing damage to enemies. I mean, to be fair, I am used to fireballs doing that, so we'll have that. And then we've only got 1 more point if I'm going to enforce these rules, so it might as well be stamina. And let's have a look at this one. So what you would ideally do is, I'm sure you'll be able to identify quite quickly, it's very important to 3-star everything early doors because it'll get your tech tree done quickly, which then means you've got more stars to spend and get everything done quicker. There is, as you can see, or as I pointed to earlier, a leaderboard. And let me tell you, I mean, don't pay too much attention to these scores because a lot of us got these scores, and one of them was in the chat, when the game was a lot easier than it is now. It's kind of a bit of a issue, I suppose, for anybody starting the game. To get this far, you are going to need some fortune on your side. For those of you who put the work in early doors, well, you'll probably be immortalized for all of eternity. I don't think I can get that high, but I can but hope. Thank you, Ethan. So let's do this next one. And then I think I've done my due diligence with this game and shown you everything that there is about it. Now, if we can choke point here and choke point here, we will force the enemy through this, which is not a bad shout. Whilst we get that going, let's get some archers. Now, again, we could forego our first round of purchasing, but let's get some archers in there. Let them do their thing. As I mentioned earlier, Anybody who's thinking like, oh, well, this is just a Bad North ripoff. Kinda. There are games out there where it's, for me, it's very much like, why does this game need to be in VR? Now, if this game was done with controllers, it is a game that I would be questioning. Why does this need to be done in VR? Could we just have this on flat screen? Well, we've already got things on flat screen that are like this, i.e. Bad North. And also, bringing it back to the hand-based gesture system again, where, and just to explain how that works, what I am doing, I put my fingers near the unit, pinch my fingers together, move to where I want it to go, and drop. And it's very, very good. Part of the reason why I've always thought a lot of the hand gesture and hand tracking games have been gimmicky is because hand tracking's not quite there yet. The simplicity of this one and what they've done makes it very, very good and very, very responsive. Now, for those of you thinking, oh shit, parrots, they're not parrots, I think they're crows. It's either droppings or stones. You can make your mind up. These are basically our one and only aerial attacking unit. You can only deal with these with ranged units, but you can also deal with them with fireballs. But we'll deal with them with archers for now, and those crows go down pretty fast. If we might not even need to lock this off, because that castle is next closest thing. Cool. Good deal. Let's pop a tower down then. That can get some work done. Let's move these boys out to here. Pop some swordsmen down, because we might as well delay them whilst we can. More shots from the archers. You'll see some of my shots are hitting the lip here as well. Your positioning of your troops does matter. Another one of those tips that I would be giving you, if I was that kind of guy, go for ranged early doors. It'll only see you well. The other thing that you can do with shielded enemies, which are kind of the bane of any aspiring ranged commander, is if you had, say, the shielded enemy here, and you have attacks coming in from different sides, they can only point so many of their shields in different directions. Long story short, attack from multiple angles, and you can avoid their shields, often completely, and just take down shield troops as quickly as you would regular troops. Now, unfortunately, they've brought parrots again, and we've got archers. Another tip, if you drop your fireball at the correct time, the fireball can take out aerial threats. Nice and simple. Now, we have identified that there is only one route that the enemy can get us via, and it's... I think that's going to give us the best coverage on both. Could do with getting 2 thorn bushes here. Well, that one definitely will stop those guys messing up our day. Let's bring these guys a little bit further back, because that is quite the swarm of crows coming in. Don't know if you can hear that or not, but those are the manliest crows I have ever heard. I think it's A, lazy, but also hilarious that the developers have still got the noise for wolves and crows. So we did take some casualties there. We'll get 1 troop back per wave. We're on the last wave now, so we should be all good. This is one of those occasions where, for purposes of, I will use a heal so that you guys can see what it does, but it heals 50% of the HP back, or of a troop. We get our 3 guys back, so that takes us back up to full strength. Let's pop those there, and this time we'll use our troop a little bit. Bloody wolves, they're the other bane of my existence at the moment. Let's hold with our troops for as long as possible. Bear in mind, once cast, they then go on a cooldown. Dealing with those quite, nicely so far. Good. And you'll see that eventually we do enough damage to enemy shields for them to drop said shields. Hey. And that's what we were holding our troops for. Just in case we've got things that we need to deal with rather expediently. These guys are not in range anymore. Let's bring them into range. Let's do the same with these. Always position your ranged units behind a structure or another unit that is, say, shielded. Enemies will prioritize the thing in front a lot of the time, unless it's fucking wolves. Fireballs, and as you can see, we now burn the ground. And then that would be our 3 stars. Lovely stuff. I won't show you off any of the other enemies and allies, things that you can purchase. I'll leave those for you to have a look at your good selves. So again, gesture based, or hand tracking based rather, I should say, not gesture based, hand tracking game. I think this one's $7.99, $8.99. If you like Bad North, you're gonna like this. Everybody needs a hand tracking game, I think, as I've spoken about before. It's nice to have something to rely on when, say, your controllers are out of battery, or you need to send them away under manufacturer's warranty because of stick drift. That isn't the only reason to play this game, though. Fantastic little strategy game. Lots of content in here, let me tell you. You can see that my score is at 261. That means that I have 3-starred, 261 stars levels worth. That'd be 261 divided by 3, people. Well, I mean, it's going to be at least 80 levels. I can tell you that I've done, well, 90 levels. Quite a few worlds. Each world has got between 10 and, 12 and 7 in it. And this is where I currently am sat at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is world 11, and it goes on as well. And I think that is a good place to end it there. So we shall indeed. This has been the fantastic Banners and Bastions running natively on the Quest 3. I have been hand gesturing Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.